What's going on, everybody? So this is today's project. Probably run over a little bit into tomorrow as well. So what we're going to be doing here is putting some more of this rock down. Now, if you're kind of new to the channel, I've done 4 projects right here. The first was initially to put this pad in, or it's really like kind of like a road entrance thing in the front there, and then it was like just a straight line through here with a little offset pad right there about where that trailer is. And then we came in here, I widened it up on this side with a few more loads, and then we came in and we put this trail in back there as well. And I cut this trail with the most of it with the XCT brush cutter on the skid steer. I cut all this, and then we put this path in. So I'll take you guys down here because this is going to be part of it. We're going to be extending this path through here. I think this was 3 or 4 loads I put through here to cover this, and then that's where I stopped. And then where that water is what he wants to fill in through here where it's muddy. So this is going to be about 3 loads through here just to kind of cover up this muddy area through here. So what I'm going to have to do, I can't get the dump truck back in here, so I'm going to pile it up at the front, and just I literally brought all this back in here bucket by bucket with the skid steer and just kind of graded it in and tamped it, you know, just ran over it. This damn chunky concrete is hell on the tracks, but it is what it is. So if you guys want to see any of that, it's on the channel, all those projects. So, but we're gonna widen this up through here, about right here or so, to the other side of this big pine. That big pine is staying, and we're just gonna kind of widen this up through here on this side, same thing on the other side, and then put those 3 loads back there. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to try to take the bucket and just kind of push some of this stuff off a little bit here. We're not putting down any fabric. He told me to just lay it on the ground, do what I can. So when I first did this, everybody said, oh, this is going to sink into the ground, and because all this was kind of muddy up under here. I did it in like November, and it was raining, and it was kind of a wet, mucky, muddy mess, and everyone was like, yeah, it's gonna sink in the ground, it's gonna pump, it's not gonna work. And I'm like, I think it's gonna be just fine. And it has been just fine. This stuff is hard as a rock, and it is good. Even when I bring the dump truck over this, it doesn't move an inch. So not through the main part of it. It's a little, obviously where it's thinner on the edges it does. So we're gonna widen that up. And so he wants me to, I'm gonna push some of this stuff off too. We'll take the bucket and just kind of push that way and fill this in. So, all right, let's go get some stone and start bringing it in here. All right, so I got 4 piles in here to do these sides. I kind of staggered them 1 and 2, and then these two right here, 3 and 4, so I could kind of work the skid steer through here if I needed to, mainly because I kind of had to push some of this stuff off that the client, he came through here before I got started. He cut down a couple of pines, I guess, that were in the way. When I was pushing some of this stuff off, there was a couple stumps, small stumps from these small saplings that were sticking up. I just cut them down as low as I could. I really don't want to go digging in this. And the grapple that I have, these pines, their tap roots go straight down, and even a little one can be 2 or 3 feet deep in the ground. Like that one right there, I cut it down as low as I could. That tap probably goes 3 feet in the ground, so you're not getting that out with the skid steer with the grapple. So, and then you just make a mess in here. So I just kind of pushed some of that stuff off, and he told me just lay it down on the ground. So that's what we're gonna do. That's pretty much what we did through here. When I came through here, I did dig all the stumps out though. I had the little mini excavator, my old John Deere 35D. So I kind of dug all that out and when I laid this initial course down, but the rest of it, we just come in here and laid it down. So that's pretty much that. So I'm gonna get started laying these out, and then once these are down, we can start piling up 3 loads right here, and I'll start working on the path in the back. So let's get to it. All right, so we got the initial 4 loads in to widen this up, and tracked it down as best I could. This stuff doesn't really grade all that smooth just because it's so chunky, but it looks good. Got around that tree. That was a little hard, but he wanted me to kind of go around that tree. So if you'll notice 2 things. One, I make like 9,000 point turns when I'm doing this a lot of times, or I back really far up and then I come forward, is because I don't like to, you know, really grind the tracks on this stuff, because it is just hell on the tracks. And 2, you'll see me, I raise the bucket up a lot when I'm tracking this in. The main reason for that is so I can see the tracks, and I can see any of the stuff that's in any of the trash or metal, and I can see it before I hit it. It's not always perfect, but I'll show you guys some of the stuff that I pulled out of here. These like metal grates. I guess when they crush this stuff, they don't run a magnet through it because it's full of trash and stuff like that, and wire. There's a piece of wire over here. I tried to pull it out. It's sticking up somewhere. Might have gotten covered back over, but yeah, so that stuff, it's kind of hell on the tracks, and it's just not good. So I try to just be as careful as I can, but this stuff works really great for this. It's really large and chunky, but it's got just enough of the smaller stuff in it to help it bind, so it works really good for this. This stuff's been great in here for that purpose. So I got a load in the dump truck, and then we need to go get 2 more, so hopefully I can do that before the mine closes. So let's get it done. right, guys, job is done. As done as I'm gonna get it. So just for reference, this is not for trucks or any kind of vehicle or anything like that. It's just really for them to walk on, for the client to walk on, and for the occasional four-wheeler. So this is not for any kind of heavy vehicle or heavy equipment or anything like that. So it's a little wet. Here's that metal. I was telling you about this wire metal. It's all in this stuff. But that over there. So it's gonna be a little wet for now until it dries out. But when I originally did all of this back here through here, it was wet too, and it dried out just fine. So this stuff will dry, it'll compact and harden, and it'll be pretty good. So it might need a little more, especially along this edge, but for now that's all I had. We agreed on 7 loads, 4 from the front and 3 for back here. So I really don't like messing with this stuff because it's so chunky. This is my little turnaround spot, so I would back up, kind of back into here, and then go back out. And I just about threw a track right there. I guess a rock got in the track, and I was kind of like backing up, pulling forward, backing up, trying to like not turn so hard, and just doing like a very kind of slight turn there. And I heard it pop, and then I kind of, when I was going forward, and I kind of just backed up, and it popped back in, thank goodness. So but like I said, all this was kind of through here the same way when I did it originally, and it turned out just fine. So I'm not too concerned about it. And if I got to bring him a little more down here, it's not a problem. This stuff is very cheap, very cheap, considering all the trash and metal that's in it. You can't really charge much for it, but this is what it's perfect for. It's making these pads and stuff like this. So there's another piece of metal. Let's get that out of there. So all right, well, this is done. Skid steer's a mess. I'll get it cleaned up when I get back before I put it on the truck. I'm going to take the dump truck back to the shop, and we're going to wrap this up on a Friday. So hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will catch you later.